Hey everybody, it's Sean.
And Angie.
As you can tell, my voice has been a little wonky.
Yeah, for about 6 weeks.
So you've probably noticed that I haven't put out any long-term videos for a while, and this is why.
We've done our usual. We spent some time with the kids. We went to the lake. We went to Lagoon for almost a week.
You won a small prize.
That's an amusement park just north of Salt Lake City, Utah. We went on our annual lava trip.
So where are we headed, Amber?
Up to the grocery store to buy beer.
To buy beer with?
The wagon.
A wagon.
Hill, and it's a heavy wagon.
It's like you're a Clydesdale.
You think this one's long? Wait for the one that we sent twice. Yeah, they're complaining about.
9 years. 9 years making pizza. Thank you. Guys are awesome. Greg and Kelly have been catering a pizza night. This is the 9th year. We've certainly mentioned Greg and Kelly before. Kelly's been friends with Angie since 7th grade, and they own a successful business in Logan, Firehouse Pizza. Boy, and how many trailers did we have at Lava this year?
I don't know, a lot, because we're a big herd.
When we go up there, Angie's good friend that she grew up with, Kelly, who owns Firehouse Pizza, she and her husband hosted a pizza party, and they feed everybody on Saturday night. They charge a small amount of money, and they donate all of the supplies for that, and then they make a donation of all the money.
Yeah, all the proceeds.
You know, when I was a kid, we would go up to Lava for family reunions because my great-great-grandparents founded Lava Hot Springs back at the turn of the last century. But we never tubed the river, and tubing the river has become
the plan for most of it.
It is a tourist town, and so many people. Well, the pool gets crazy too.
It does.
Our family, for the most part, I mean, it is trip after trip after trip up and down the Portneuf River. So much fun.
Yes. And we got to see, over the last winter, we had a lot of snowfall here in the Rocky Mountains, and the original family business in Lava Hot Springs collapsed this year, and you probably have a couple of pictures of that. It was very sad.
Yeah, I had actually done a little bit of video last year about Fife Motors, but the building's gone, and it's still a mess.
It's not gone, it's just...
the roof collapsed, and I'm not sure what's happening with that.
Yeah, it's just sad. So then we were up here, and we've been here for 12 days. I had my brother here, my sister here, my nieces and nephews here, and 3 of our kids were here. We had quite the tribe, and we have enjoyed the peace and quiet and solitude before they came and after they left.
So while the boys are on a ride, the girls over there are solving all of the world's problems. Oh, one thing though, on our way up here. So we came up the Monday before Labor Day. My daughter asked me if I'd be willing to come down and pull her trailer up. On our way up the canyon, she lost the water pump in the truck. Which, I know I say she, I guess I was driving.
Yes.
But, so that was a little bit fun, and there's kind of a story to this. Before we went full-time, we watched a channel called Wilds on the Go. A couple about our age that does camp hosting and work camping, and they had an experience where towing their fifth wheel down into Ontario, Oregon. They were on their way in. They were eastbound on the 84, and they were about 20 miles outside of Ontario. They lost the water pump on their Dodge, and that turned into an 8-hour fiasco for them while they were trying to get their truck and their trailer towed into Ontario, and ultimately they got that fixed. After watching that video years ago, I turned to Angie and I said, you know, that is kind of one of those issues with the Cummins, those water pumps. They have a tendency to do that. I'm going to buy a spare because had that been me, I told her at the time, I'd have just changed the water pump there on the side of the road. Let's skip forward 5 years. Well, it wasn't a water pump in my truck, water pump in Zach and Erica's truck that I ended up changing basically at the side of the road. Well, there's the water pump. And look at that.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to do that, huh?
No, it's not supposed to do that.
So, and it was an adventure, and I think my daughter was frazzled, but it was all manageable. All got taken care of. We got it fixed.
Water pump replaced. 15 minutes. Yeah, it did. I mean, it just a little bit of a setback, and that happens. Their 04 Dodge has over 150,000 miles on it. I know at the time, as we were sitting in our lawn chairs, waiting for Angie to show up, because, you know, the funny thing is, it happened right where they were doing some road construction, and there's absolutely no service in that part of the canyon. So I asked the flagman if he could radio down and get Angie a message that we're sitting on the side of the road. They did that. Angie came up, hooked on to Zach and Erica's trailer, took it on up here. Angie's mom showed up as well, just ran back down the canyon, bought a water pump for her truck, came back up, and I fixed it there at the parking lot.
Yep, it was an adventure, but it was all fairly easy to take care of for the most part.
So, like Tom and Lori have Dave in a box, in this case, Erica had Dad in a box.
Yeah.
And it was interesting sitting there talking with her because, you know, hey, we've been traveling for 5 years like this, and Erica turned to me and she goes, Dad, I don't know if I could do it. I'm a little bit stressed sitting here. And I'm like, Erica, you know, you just roll with the punches. And she asked me, well, what would you have done if the flaggers weren't here and you'd have been sitting here? And I said, well, if it was me, I would have pulled the water pump out of the toolbox of the truck and just changed it right there. But had we not had the parts, I says one of the benefits of us now is the connectivity of having our Starlink. Right. I would have just got out the Starlink and called for the cavalry.
But at the same time, it was like, don't panic, don't stress. You had your trailer, so you had a bathroom and you had water and you had lunch. Her trailer still got here, her truck got fixed. It was no big deal. It took time and some resources, but it was mainly time. And when you have your house, you have that, I guess, comfort that you know that you're going to be okay. I mean, you're going to fix it, and then you're going to shower and eat your dinner, and you're good.
Yeah, it's funny, and I'm just going to throw this out too, because some of you know this, but not all. When I first retired from the Logan Police Department, you know, we had a 30-foot tongue pole, and the plan was to spend a year on the road to see if the full-time lifestyle was in fact something that we wanted to do. And that we didn't end up spending a year. We spent about 6 months when...
It wasn't even 6 months.
Well, yeah, we left in August. We actually returned home mid-December. But because our third daughter was pregnant with twins and needed her mom.
Yes.
So I went back to work at the time. But in that interim, well, first off, you know, we actually figured out that the full-time lifestyle was for us. For the next 3 years, at work, all I did was cry and whine like a little girl about how I didn't want to be working anymore. I wanted to be back out on the road. But during that interim, we took a road trip in our convertible out to see Crater Lake. And we experienced some car issues.
We did.
And we were about 650 miles from home, and I had to tow the car, and we got that worked out. But it's so interesting because at that time, when we were dealing with those car issues, Angie said,
if we were in the trailer, we would have our resources. We would have our bed and water and food, and to be stuck somewhere in our little 2-seater car and not have accommodations and not have phone service.
Yeah,
it was very disconcerting for us because we have become so independent and self-sufficient where we have our trailer and you have your tools and you have phones, service of some sort, whether it's phone service or just internet service.
Yeah, it just throwing that out, everybody's journey is different. It was just interesting at the time, having just been on the road for a period of time with all of those resources, to then be on the road without them, experience an issue, and be going, man, this isn't what we want to do.
Yeah, it was very strange. We are full-time, but we tend to spend most of our summers here with our kids. We vacation with our kids, we camp with our kids, we do annual trips that like lava that are with our children. So I mean, we're not gone as much as some full-time people because we are.
For the last 4 years, we've returned home for the summers and spent time doing what we traditionally have done with our kids, so that Angie can get grandma time in.
Yes, because that's important. I want my grandkids to know that I love them.
But next year is going to probably be different. Right now, we're trying to make arrangements to go up to Alaska next summer.
Hopefully.
And we're going to see how that goes. So I'll stay tuned stay tuned for that. Anyways, all right, well, hopefully this provides you guys a little bit of a catch-up and maybe an explanation as to why all of a sudden our channels had just a whole bunch of shorts.
Yes, because our teenage boy can't speak.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, so bear with us, and the adventures will continue. We're going to get packed up and head back down the canyon. But thanks, everybody.
See ya.